Okay, so I have right here this is the Nitecore EMR40. I have in there the Flextail pads, and then in the middle here we have the Flextail Tiny Repel, and in there I have some random Amazon repellent mats, and you can see right here the Flextail has quite a bit of wetness on there, so it does show that it works. I'll set that to the side. And finally here we have the Thermacell electronic version. I think they call it the Radius. So again, you can see the wetness where it heats up, and this one you can see just how much liquid is on that wick right there. So I'll put that back. And also this is the Radius that came with the unit, and it's lasted about, I will say, 5 hours so far. It says it's supposed to last 12 hours, so it's quite a bit of life left on it. Okay, so let's start with the Nitecore repellent. So this is also an electric repellent. This one has 7,800 milliamp hours or 28 watt hours of capacity, and is supposed to do about 10 hours of runtime maximum on the indoor settings. So you press and hold. That's on outdoor settings. That remembers the last setting I gave it. Press again for indoors. Press again outdoors. Click and hold, and it'll turn off. Okay, so here is the Flextail Tiny Repel, and again, this one has a lantern. It's got magnets on the bottom with a tripod mount. Set the lamp. Again, double click. There we go. So I have a bright lighting here. You can't really see it, but you see it gets pretty bright in person. There is some lag, however, so that is something to be aware of. Also, the buttons. It is quite hard to press. Like, you can see how much my finger is sinking into there, so nobody talks about these, but it's okay. Okay, so this is the heating mode for indoors. Press again for outdoors, and press one more time to shut off. And it's got a battery meter and a Type-C port. So now let's talk about what they use. So in here, I have the actual Flextail mats. I was doing a bit of test earlier. Let me just push them out with the, this is just a popsicle stick. As you can see, it's quite a tight fit for the Flextail mats. And it does get stuck in there if you don't have something to push it out. So I would not really advise using the Flextail mats with the Nitecore series. It is a bit of tight fit, and you kind of have to angle it to push it in there. That is very sharp, so it will catch the edges and rip it away. And here we have the Tiny Repel. Again, it's using about, I'm using the Amazon branded mats, and I'll have links down below. But so these are the Amazon off-brand mats. As you can see, the mats has been fairly used. I'll talk about the runtime in a little bit, but here, let me push this one out as well. You can see right there. So if you can take a look inside the Flextail, there is little barbs that'll push the mat against the actual side, and the actual Flextail mats, they leave a bit of residue right there, as you can see. Okay, now let's talk about the mats themselves. So I'll leave this in here for right now so you guys can see the size. So these two, okay, they're pretty similar in size. So here is the Nitecore, and as you can see, it took 2 of those mats to fit in here, and I was just using the Flextail mats to demonstrate. But the actual Nitecore mat comes in something like this. And I'm not going to take one out because it's about the same size as the Thermacell mat right here. So both of these are about the same size and they fit fairly similar. What I do like to mention though is the Nitecore ones is slightly thicker. I don't have a caliper, but you get the gist. They both fit. The interesting part comes with the actual Flextail mats. So I will show you the actual burn patterns. That's a little bit more interesting. So on the back here, I have kind of ripped one off, but as you can see, the black stuff, it comes away fairly easily. Like it's very, very easily scraped off. So the actual matte part is down below the black portion. So let's just take a look at the aftermarket mats. Now the dark blue is the burn left by the Nitecore. So when they were in there, they were like this, and the dark blue was left by the Nitecore. But the bright white part was actually at the burn left by the Thermacell. Oh, not the Thermacell, the Flextail. So it's got a tiny burn element in the middle. And what's actually interesting is while both of those worked, and I will show an included clip of all 3 working, there's been a lot of people saying online that the Flextail doesn't get hot enough or the mats don't work, but I think they work. And I tested just to see if the temperatures get hot enough, and of course you can see on here they do quite get hot enough to activate the repellent. So the Flextail also comes with a tiny case, and in here I have the mats for the Flextail. So they come in these little mats, and the Flextail has prelethrin, mepafluorethin, and it's a total of 10 milligrams. If we take a look at the Thermacell pads, it's pretty much the same thing, I believe. Sorry for the glare. It is decis translithrin, about 21%, and then other ingredients. And then here we have the Nitecore, and it's PR-electrin, 10 milligrams. So they all have different types of compounds, but you get the job done. And of course, can't forget about this one. And here's what the cartridges for this one looks like. So this is a replacement cartridge, which is 40-hour refills, and it has metafluorethin in there with other ingredients. Okay, this is the Flextail Tiny Repel. And a lot of people say it doesn't get hot enough, so I did a test, and you can see it is spilling out the repellent from the mats. There's definitely enough heat. And the grill part, it definitely is wet. Yeah, you can see it. As you can see right there, it is plowing off the repellent. Very cool. And then here you have the Nitecore EMR40, and you can see that it does kick off the repellent from the mat, but it's quite a hard angle to get the shot. There we go. Yeah, as you can see, it does kick it off quite a bit, but it's fairly hard to see. And here we have the Thermacell. As you can see, it does the best out of the three.